Republican presidential candidates locking horns in Miami as they battle to stand out as the best alternative to former President Trump in the 2024 election cycle. You are watching Fox and Friends First on this Thursday morning. I'm Carly Shimkin.
And I'm Todd Pyro. The war on Israel and foreign policy front and center. And of course, it was impossible to ignore Republican election losses across our country on Tuesday.
I am upset about what happened last night. We've become a party of losers at the end of the day. It was a cancer to the Republican establishment. Let's speak the truth. I mean, since Ronna McDaniel took over as chairwoman of the RNC in 2017, we have lost 2018, 2020, 2022, no red wave that never came.
I sent planes over to Israel, and I brought back over 700 people to safety. There could have been more hostages had we not acted.
As much as I'm pro-life, I don't judge anyone for being pro-choice, and I don't want them to judge me for being pro-life.
The borrower is slave to the lender. We have become an indentured servant too often to countries like China.
That was just a snippet, and now Brooke Sigmund is breaking down the other big moments of the night. Hi, Brooke.
Hey, good morning, you guys. All 5 candidates came out swinging, but the biggest clashes were still between former Ambassador Nikki Haley and political newcomer Vivek Ramaswamy. Watch this.
In the last debate, she made fun of me for actually joining TikTok while her own daughter was actually using the app for a long time. So you might want to take care of your family first.
Leave my daughter out of your voice.
You have her supporters propping her up. That's fine. Here's the truth.
You're just
the easy answer. Do you want a leader from a different generation who's going to put this country first? Or do you want Dick Cheney in 3-inch heels?
All right, Mr.
In which case, we've got 2 of them on stage tonight.
Putin and President Xi are salivating at the thought that someone like that could become president. They would love to see
The fact of the matter is she doesn't answer
So this
the
is
question.
what I
Yeah, guys, and abortion was front and center of last night's debate after Tuesday's elections dealt a blow to the pro-life movement. In Ohio, 56% of voters passed an amendment to add abortion protections to the state's constitution. And new polling from CNN reveals nearly 7 in 10 voters will actually consider that issue when casting their ballots next November.
Let's just be clear. The Democrats have taken a position. They will not identify the point at which there should be any protection all the way up until birth. That is wrong, and we cannot stand for that.
3 out of 4 Americans agree with a 15-week limit.
Let's focus on how to save as many babies as we can and support as many moms as we can and stop the judgment. We don't need to divide America over this issue anymore.
I trust the people of this country, state by state, to make the call for themselves.
Now, of the 5 candidates to take the stage in Miami last night, it was actually Senator Tim Scott who had the most speaking time. You guys?
Interesting calculation.
Yes,
Brooke, thank
indeed.
you.
Thank you.
Let's see what the voters thought, shall we? A panel, if you will. A.J. Brewer, owner of Brewer's Cafe in Richmond, Virginia. Lydia Dominguez, an Air Force veteran and Republican voter. And Pedro Rodriguez, a campus reform correspondent and Hispanic independent voter. Thanks to all 3 of you for being here. A.J., who had the strongest night and why?
You know, I'm so glad Tim Scott got the majority of the time. You know, I appreciate where he comes from. It matches my story. You know, his single mom raising him and him becoming an entrepreneur. I appreciate him being such a relatable guy and not really getting into the spats, getting into the real issues, talking about a 15-week ban on abortion and talking about the majority of Americans supporting that. You know, it just seems like a reasonable time allotment for those procedures. And it just seems like here, at least in my state, we all believe that. We say it in private, yet we vote. I tell my family all the time, we're conservative in the household, but we're liberal when we step out the household. So
I think what you said about Tim Scott is literally what we were just saying before we came on air. Everybody loves Tim Scott. But, A.J., I have to follow up. Did he do anything last night to chip away at any of the candidates on that stage who are ahead of him in the polls and, of course, ahead of Donald Trump?
Yeah, you know, I actually believe that, you know, none of these guys have a chance. I really enjoy Tim Scott. You know, he said some great stuff. There's some candidates that I really enjoy. I like Nikki Haley as well. But I really just honestly don't believe any of these guys have a shot. I think Trump is too far ahead. And no, I don't think Tim Scott moved the needle, unfortunately, in this day of politics where we can't compromise, we can't get along. You know, I think Ramaswamy said he was upset that NBC was doing the interview as if he can't talk to the other side of America. I just don't think that it's the time for Tim Scott, and hopefully he runs again after this election. But, yeah, I think Trump is too far ahead.
Lydia, let's go to you. Strongest night and why?
Honestly, I think the only candidate that projects strength and that promotes a great economy and the American dream is Donald J. Trump. All these candidates weren't projecting that. They were projecting a bunch of cringy moments of political candidates that are fighting for second place. I really didn't like when Vivek called Nikki like Dick Cheney in heels. That was very cringy for me, and I just couldn't do it.
Cringy is a word I'm hearing a lot this morning, not just from you, Lydia. And Pedro, focusing on this debate until we go to Donald Trump for a second, who had the strongest night, in your opinion, and why?
I think it's between Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley. Haley hit all the points of concerns to Americans. She shed light on why we need to support our foreign allies to stop the spread of communism and foreign dictators. And she also set a feasible and pretty reasonable solution to the abortion argument, which could ultimately unify the country. Now, Ron DeSantis was pretty strong on our southern border. He spoke heavily about labeling drug cartels as foreign terrorist organizations and treating them as such. Drug cartels and fentanyl are destroying the United States, are destroying our communities, and that has to be dealt with accordingly and now.
Former President Trump, of course, absent from the debate, held a rally instead. Take a look at this poll. A new poll showing Trump has 42% support from Hispanic voters, 22% from black voters. We've seen this trend to Trump for a while, but these numbers are a different level. Here's Trump's message last night. Listen.
We are a nation that has lost its confidence, its willpower, and its strength. We are a nation that has lost its way, but we are not going to allow this to continue.
AJ, why is Trump resonating so much more now with minority voters?
You know, I can speak for myself, speak for my inner circle here. You know, I find every single day the entrepreneur community here. I live in Richmond, Virginia. I'm an owner of a coffee shop here, Brewers Cafe, and these guys that are in my circle quietly amongst ourselves are supporting more and more Donald Trump. I can't honestly say that I support Trump, but I will say that in private, my black community more and more are saying, you know what, anybody but Biden. And, you know, when Trump was around, things were much better economically. You know, he said some kind of cringy things, some things that are a little off place. But to be honest with you, I'll go back to what I said earlier. My father, a pastor here, a preacher here in Richmond, taught me conservatism without teaching me conservatism in the house. And it wasn't until we stepped out the household when we started voting where I realized, oh man, 90-something% of us vote Democrat. Why is it that we teach these values in the house, but when we step out, we have to vote for somebody with a D behind their name? And I think, to be honest with you, people remember, especially my entrepreneurship community here in Richmond, they remember how much better it was when Biden wasn't here, when there was opportunity, when people reaching for the skies. Now there's sort of this competition around mediocrity and making sure we're staying afloat and nobody's flying. And I think that's really the impetus here, is that they've seen how bad it is with Biden, and then they regret kind of not voting for the person that really had America and American jobs kind of flourishing, because it's easy to forget when you see so many, I guess, negative instances in the news, and it's easy to talk about these issues and find camaraderie when everybody's saying he's racist, or they're saying negative things about him. So
yeah. These are the answers, the reason we go to the voters like you, AJ, Liddy, and Pedro. Amazing insight. We appreciate it.
I'm Steve Doocy. I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.